first of all, off track, but what do you make of Greg Dyke's proposals for cutting the number of non-EU players in English football?
I haven't seen it, really, to be fair. I haven't seen what the full proposal would be, so hard to make a valid comment on it.
As a general conversation, is it something that the game needs to look at?
I certainly think if it provides opportunity for some of the young British players, then I think there should be every effort made to do that. But it could also work the other way as well, because the demands for us is to get British players into play and to buy British players, it might inflate prices even more. You know, if you were to take players on loan. But I think the key in it all is to try and get, I'm sure, young British players and English players in particular playing. So if they can find something that gives that opportunity, then it certainly worth looking at.
On Monday Night Football, when they did the analysis of the Aston Villa game, Jimmy Carragher and Gary Neville suggested, or debated I should say, maybe Stephen Gerrard's maybe a number 10 role, maybe out wide as well. What are your thoughts on that?
No, there's lots of experts in the game now. That's the world that we're in. You know, I read the papers constantly and keep getting told how to play and how to work, and it's the same on the telly. So, but listen, we'll always find a way, find different ways to win games. We'll continue to do that, and that's something that I've always done all my life and all my career, and along with my staff, we'll continue to find ways to win games.
You've spoken to me about cohesion. We spoke after the game as well. You can't speed up that process, so how do you go about getting it done as quickly as possible?
It's just there's no magic formula. It's just constant work on the training field. I remember this time last year, you know, we sat in these press conferences and the questions I was getting asked about, are we going to be able to score goals last season? And we ended up obviously with 101 goals. There's no magic formula. It's just time. It's just patience with players. As I said, we weren't playing how we were in February, March, April, May at the end of last season. We weren't playing that way in September of last season. And but the same this year. And I think if you look over the course of my teams, I've always said it, that by the time the second part of the season comes, we'll always be stronger and better. And we've had to bring in a lot of new players this summer because of the demands of the Champions League and the other competitions. So that naturally takes a little bit of time. And we get players adapting to different countries, not just new teams. So naturally that takes that little bit more time. But I've been really pleased with how the players have settled in, and my experience tells me that, as I said, they will get better.
West Ham have conceded in every game so far. Do you hope to capitalise on it, and what have you made to their start of the season?
Well, I seen the game the other night and I thought they played very well. They showed great resilience to come back from being twice down. So, but you travel to Upton Park, it's always a difficult game. You know, Sam's teams are well set up and always make it difficult for you. So it'll be a real good test for us again. So, as I said, they've got good players. You know, you got Stuart Downey, who I thought was the best player in the field the other night, one of our former players. So it'll be, as I said, a really, really tough game for us. But we'll go there with confidence and look to impose our game and hopefully cause them problems.
You obviously had a good result in the Champions League with 2 defeats so far in the league. Is it crucial that you try and get back on track, not to lose too much ground in the likes of Chelsea?
I think we always look to the next game and we want to win our next game, and West Ham, as I said, will provide us that stern test. But last week against Aston Villa we weren't to our level in the final third of the field, and Aston Villa defended well and got the result. So, but we moved on from that. We got a great result. I think the perspective after a couple of days probably sees it being a good result for us in the Champions League. You know, the team that we played, you know, had beaten Lazio away and PSV Eindhoven away, and if we would have beaten either one of those two teams, it probably would have been deemed a very good result for us. But because not many people would have heard of them, it was maybe deemed that we would go on and win the game more comfortably. But there's never too many easy games in the Champions League, but we showed the character and the mental qualities that successful teams have by coming through in the end, and that was something that was was very pleasing. And we'll look to take those characteristics into the weekend's game as well.
You've said the form's been patchy so far. Does that just come with time to get back to the levels of last season?
Yeah, I think there's no magic formula, as I said. It's one the players are settling in. I think we all agree that the Southampton game was a tough game for us, and I think the results have showed that it was always going to be a tough game. But we came through that. The Manchester City game, we played reasonably well in, but switched off just before half time, and they went on, and it was probably a little bit more comfortable in the second half than what we would have liked. Tottenham game, we were outstanding, showed our levels, but a poor international break because we lost a number of our players, and that upset our rhythm a little bit. Coming out and into the Villa game where we had to sort of change our structure and missing players, but we regroup again and we won our last game. And as I said, we'll just continue to work hard. And more, as I said, the players have got great qualities, and as I said, even though they fit the profile, it's just going to take a wee bit of time for them to come through.
Brendan, you hinted at it before about finding a way to win matches, and not particularly sparkling against Southampton, as you said, and let go against Ludogorets. When you're incorporating so many new players, how do you manage to get them to buy into that Liverpool, the mentality that you want, that we go forever here?
It's something that it's a day-to-day item that we talk about, in the training sessions, the way of working. I think the new players now coming in have very much adapted into that mentality. This is, a football club where you go for the 95 minutes if need be. You have to keep going, and I think the players found that the other night as well. The intensity of the crowd, and that gives you great support in the game. But it's something that is how we work. We have to, from the very first whistle, go after the game, and it doesn't end until the final whistle goes. So, and I think we proved that the other night. I think some of the speed of our game the other night was very good, and if we get the goal in the early parts of the first half, we maybe could have went on and got it more comfortable. But we got the goal in the end. We changed the system 3 times in the game to get the result, and then our 2 young fullbacks, they provide an assist, and the young fullback is up in the box trying to make something happen right at the very end. So it's a good demonstration of the mentality of the group, that they keep going. Like I said, the successful teams have those fighting qualities, and it's something that our lot have in abundance.
The fullbacks, both new, and you've got Dejan Lovren as well, so all changed defensively. But the fullbacks have shown up really well for you so far, and if they can continue that progress, then it's not just what they can bring defensively, but offensively, they both look really adaptable at the top end of the pitch.
Yeah, I think that both initially were brought in, one because they can defend. Young Kelly at right back he's only 20 years of age, but he's like a rash. He's all over attackers, and he's hard to beat. And as you see, he gets forward well, and he wants to, as I said, he wants to create. And young Alberto Moreno, the same. He's 22 years of age. He can defend. He's quick on the recovery, and I think everyone has seen his pace and his quality going forward. So as they adapt more to this level and the league itself and the physicality of the league, they are only going to get better. But in the meantime, they're 2 real terrific young guys who've settled in well into the club. They're loving their life in Liverpool, and they're really enjoying their football. And as time comes and goes by, they'll improve with that. As you say, Dejan Lovren's come in. He's played the majority of his career on the left side as a central defender, and obviously with Martin Skrtel being out injured, he's had to move across to the right hand side. Now, it might seem only a simple 10-yard change, but it can make a big difference, because he's used to that zone on the left side, receiving the ball off different foot, and but I think he's settled in well. And as you say, 3 changes to the back 5. Of course, it's, if you look at some of the other teams, they've got real experienced players and they've been around at the level for a long time. We haven't got that, but it's something that we work with the players in order to make them better, and that ultimately will improve our performance level.
As far as West Ham are concerned, we all saw what Enner Valencia could do at the World Cup, but his goal the other night against Hull was just astonishing. And a player like that, it's
Yeah, no, an excellent talent. He looked a threat. As you say, it was a great goal. Just shifted out of his feet, and the power he generated, and the shot was fantastic. And players score goals like that. There's not a great deal you can do about it. So, but we know there's threats. As I said, they've got other good players. For us, we will look to bring our game there and go there as a team. You know, to work in our way and hopefully get there with 3 points.
Well, the new players that are bedding in, do you have to rely on players who know the way you work a little bit more? I mean, like you can show them a lot more responsibility with vice captaincy, but for those who know how you work, do you always have to get them to track the others along?
And naturally do that. Anyway, I think it's just a part of the process here. As I said, we're very much a team, and I think I'll always stress that we will attack and defend as a team, and we'll win and lose as a team. The new players coming in, of course, it does take a wee bit of time. Any manager or coach will tell you that, but it's not an excuse. You know, we had to invest in the summer because we were so light, and we've got a number of injuries at the moment. But the players I'm really pleased with. As I said, our form last year was incredible, but we weren't playing like that at this time last year. I think we had 3 1-0 victories, you know. So, and as I said, the question was, would we score enough goals? So you just need the time to let the players settle, and obviously whilst you're doing that, you need to win games, and that's what we look to do.
I thought you made Philip Coutinho's start to the season. He's getting a lot of pitch time. Is he fulfilling his potential, do you think, at the moment, or has he got another level to step up to?
No, he's a brilliant young player. Fantastic young player. I plan to give, you know, to have him out of the game against Aston Villa because he had a lot of travel in the international week, and if we didn't have so many injuries, he would have been given a rest on the side and then playing in the Champions League game. But we couldn't afford to do that. We had to play him. It was great for him and his experience getting back into the Brazilian squad. But no, I've got no qualms about him. I think that he's a big talent. He's lit up the Premier League since he's come to the club. So he's going to have some games where he won't be at his best, but what he always does, he always gives his best, and that's all I ever ask of the players. And this kid's a great boy who wants to do well, very conscientious, and I've got absolutely no doubts about him.
The type of player he is, obviously it takes a while to adapt to the Premier League, but is he at the stage now where he can dominate games and really sort of have a key role? Because some criticism of him before most maybe is a little bit lightweight in terms of the pace and the power of the Premier League. Can he cope with that now?
Well, he's been here 18 months and he's been absolutely brilliant. I don't think that's a question. How can he cope? I think you only need to measure him since he's been in and look at the big games where he's been absolutely brilliant. I think that he's like any normal player. I think sometimes you'll be 6 out of 10. You won't always be 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10. But whilst he isn't at his best, the reliance isn't just solely on him. You know, we have to, if we're to succeed, it will be about the whole team playing well. And if he's not, then there'll be other players he can have a rest, and then he'll go again. But there's no doubt in whether he has the pace or the power or the strength, because he's already shown in so many games that he has all those qualities.
Yeah, just when we spoke about the cohesion before, Brendan, as well, do you see it in individual cases getting up to speed? Obviously Mario's had game time, he's got his first goal now. What do you expect that to do for him, really?
I'm very pleased for him. I thought he worked in every aspect of his game the other night. I thought he was very good. You know, he pressed the ball really hard, he worked well, and like I said, he took his goal fantastically well. So he just adapted now to back playing regular football, and I think for his confidence it'll do him the world of good.
Thank you.